860-7007 on WhatsApp. Adventist World Radio, SID Media, from broadcast to baptism.
Good morning to you at 17 minutes after 8. It is so wonderful to know that you have decided to join us on the glorious morning, the weekend breakfast edition. Millicent Ndiweni is my name, but now I am not alone. I am going to be joined by two phenomenal guests, and I am excited for this conversation because it's a deep one. I've been telling you, these things are serious, man, and we need to talk about it. So we are just waiting for one of them to hang on to join us. But in the meantime, I'm going to allow us to get to know Chilizi Radali. I hope I got your name right. Someone was teaching me how to pronounce your name yesterday, and I was like, my tongue is getting sore. Because I have to put my the tongue has to do something chirizi, and I was struggling, and I was like, yo, please forgive me. I'm going to do my best. Good morning, Chirizi. I can see you are muted. If you just unmute, there we go.
Very good morning, Millicent.
How
Well, and yourself?
I'm excited to have you join us this morning. Thank you for accepting our invitation. Maybe just to get to know you a little bit, you are a life coach. Coach. I keep on saying life coach because I've got a show segment that is called Life Coach, so I get confused by them. You are a life coach. It's one of the things that you do. Please tell us a little bit more about the work that you do and how you got into maybe enjoying these kinds of relationship kind of conversations.
Oh, okay. So Chilizi Radali, also known as the coach within the coaching industry,
Right.
is a life coach, an NLP life coach, certified NLP, which is neuro linguistic programming. And I got my certification with the School of Life, which is a college that is found in Centurion in Gauteng. I started operating, I would say 2010, and I was focusing on your corporate coaching. And then until from 2017, when I moved towards relationship coaching, which is anything to do with from dating, helping young people to start, meaningful and lasting relationships. That's where the patient came in. And
Yeah.
also, you do life purpose coaching, which is to assist individuals to discover their life purpose. And also, I do parenting coaching. I call it effective parenting coaching. This was backed mostly by the need to assist parents, mostly single mothers, who are raising boy child, and that's where it was backed, and I've been assisting them. I still do that. And I do also in the corporate, even though it's not a lot of work that I do, but I do team building sessions. I do as well your leadership workshops as well on a management level. So that's just about me. But as one can tell, life coaching, we're able to assist in any area of life, but I try to specialize in certain areas. However, if somebody reaches out and I'm able to assist, I definitely do that. But if it's cases that requires some people that are subject matter experts, I do divert them to those people. And we also do premarital coaching, which some people, they will call it premarital counseling. The only difference is that we do it from an NLP point of view. Hence, we call it premarital coaching. However, the conversations are more or less the same. We're just preparing young people who have made the decision to say, now we want to take our relationship to the next level. And we do those sessions. So that's basically the kind of work that I do.
I like that. Why did you make the gap from the, coaching corporate lead to specifically relationships and stuff like that?
I would say it was not a difficult transition, because even when I was doing corporate, the coaching itself, because for me, I don't take it as a career. It's not a work that I do. It's more of a calling. It started with me just being approached by people while I was still working in the corporate space. And I would find myself sitting, doing counseling sessions, doing coaching. And by then, it was not even yet professional, because it was just me having a heart to heart conversation with an individual. And until I decided to go and study NLP life coaching, And by then, when I left the corporate space, which was in 2017, I resigned from my daytime job, and then I focused fully on establishing this institution called Chile, the coach Radari. And when I did that, a lot of people were approaching me from a relationship point of view. Hence, I ended up streamlining my work to say, let it rather focus mainly on relationships. And it also assisted me to grow personally, doing a lot of research, doing a lot of studying of books, that are related to coaching and just generally observing people within the relationship space. And that's basically where the transition came from. And of course, it is a passion that comes with one's decision to say, look, I believe and accept the call that this is what I'm called for. I cannot run away from it, even in as much as sometimes you want to close off taking sessions. You find yourself having people reaching out to you, and it's all about relationships. So that's where it came from.
Okay. No, very nice to know how you got into the space and how passionate you are about it. We are in safe hands this morning. You're navigating breakups. We know that I think for most of us, if not all of us, who still have a conscience, breakups aren't nice. And it's something that, especially in these conservative spaces like the radio station that we are at, we don't talk about breakups in particular often. We talk about relationships, yes, but not breakups. And I don't think we should just ignore them because they leave us scarred. And we see trauma responses all around us. We move on to rebound. Innocent people, we don't take time to heal because we are chasing all sorts of dopamine rushes that we don't even understand, feelings, and they never make us feel completely whole anyway. It's touch and go, touch and go, touch and go. Can we find better, healthier ways of coping with breakups? And I love your introduction, getting to know you this morning. I'm going to have to start off with a little bit of a personal question because you said you had to do so much research to help other people. Would you say that life coaches, maybe who are experts in particular fields, like in this case, it would be, I don't know if it's called relationship, would you say you generally have mastered good relations with people around you, with people in your life? Does it make it easier for you just because you are a life coach?
I would say it does. It doesn't.
Oh.
I know it sounds very interesting to say that, in a sense that you cannot measure relationship from the one end. You have to allow the other party to decide whether how you are relating with them is regarded the better way of ending relationships. So for me personally, I would say one thing that NLP has helped me to do was that right now I would say I'm one better person when it comes to dealing with emotions. So you develop good emotional maturity. You are not that type of a person who would react to certain things the way others would. So before you react, there is what we call a NLP presupposition that says every human behavior, it serves positive intention for the person who's doing it. And when
Okay.
you unpack that statement itself, when somebody does something, before you react towards it, you understand that whatever they have done, whatever they have said, it serves them positively before it affects you. So before you choose what emotions to activate towards what others do, you are now pushed to a position of understanding them first, and therefore you safeguard your emotions. So from that point, I would say that's where I would say we do relationship better. We relate with others better, not just in an area of I would say romantic relationships, but even on a friendship level. Personally, I'm one person who was able to even introspect where I've done wrong. I'm able to go back, whether it's on a friendship level. I'm able to go back to someone and say, look, man, I felt that in this area, I might have done something that maybe it's not unwelcome to you. If somebody points it out, I'm able to go back and say apologies, because now I realize that I did what I did because it served me better. But on the other hand, on the receiving end, it was not welcomed the way I thought or I intended. So the only part here is the emotional maturity. You are able to relate better from that angle. And also, when it comes to this conversation we're going to have today, where it's all about, the issue of letting go, parting ways from a relationship. We do it, I would say most of the people that I know, they do it very calmly. They are matured. They don't throw tantrums. They don't, create unnecessary havoc. You were able to sit each other down and say, look, this is the journey that we intended to embark on together. But now seeing that it's not giving us the intended result, I believe that from my end, if I'm the one who has made the decision, let us allow ourselves to separate and go and grow elsewhere. Or if it's a break, let's go and find ourselves. Let's go and reconnect on an individual level. And if it allows us to come back, let us then come back. So
Yeah.
that's the one part. And the one good thing I love about people within my industry, the coaching, we do not take it that we are the jack of all trades, we know it all. And
Okay.
one thing I've also come to realize is that while you are in this space, and because when I said earlier, this is what I regard as a calling, the area of your calling becomes the area of your biggest challenges,
Mm.
because now you are regarded a relationship coach. On a daily basis, you find yourself being attacked by issues that are definitely meant to disrupt your walk within this calling. Because remember, people don't only reach out to you because you're a relationship coach. Some, they would do their own research to find out, how does he on his own personal space relate. If now I'm
Yeah.
talking as a relationship coach, being a married man, going for 10 years this coming weekend,
Oh, yeah,
people
nice.
would want to
Yeah.
know, how has he been doing it? How is he
Yeah.
handling himself? So it puts you out there in the pedestal. Therefore,
Mm-hmm.
it becomes a personal decision to say, I will have to try my best to do it, not just for the people, but for myself first. And it will definitely automatically impact other people positively out there. So that's basically what I would say about the people who are in the space and how they relate.
Yeah.
To some, it becomes a
Definitely.
challenge. They feel
Mm.
more pressured, even though there might be certain things that they do not like about their relationships, and maybe they feel the need to call it quits, to part
Mhm.
ways. And now they're overwhelmed more about what will people say.
Yeah.
That's why you would see a lot of professionals, instead of making the decision, some they will resort to decisions that are not most popular. Some you find them, committing suicide. Some you find them, engaging in all these other bad things. And depending, because they will be running away from the fact that if I was to take the decision, let's say for example, it's myself here, and like I
Mm-hmm.
said earlier, I'm heading towards the 10th year anniversary this year, and for whatever reason, people were to hear that the marriage is being dissolved,
Mm.
without understanding what are the issues involved that led to the decision. Instead of one taking that decision, now you feel like, no, I need to do it for the people. Let me rather hold on, even though
Mm.
you can feel that it's no longer serving you. So to some people, it becomes that burden that instead of it helping them to understand that on their personal space, maybe it is time to call it quits because this is no longer serving them. You find them struggling to make the call because now they are thinking of the audience. What will people say? You
What
are
will people
regarded a
say?
relationship coach. We thought you would know it all. We thought you knew it all. But we forget
Yeah.
that even the doctor cannot administer, a certain procedure on themselves.
Mm.
That's how life is designed. And that is why we,
100%.
as the relationship coaches, we also have other coaches that we reach out to because we do not take it that we know it all.
I like that. Very important. We do have our second guest also joining us now on the line. I hope that he can hear me. Let me just check that. Dumela, Coach Mfundo, good morning to you. Are you well? I don't hear you at all. I'm not sure why. Coach Mfundo? Choose inkinga with this network because uh, I can see with you on the line, but I can't hear you at all. Okay, no, it's fine. For now, we'll try and see if we can get him on the line still. He's supposed to also be joining the conversation. We're thinking that it would be lovely to have more than one perspective on this matter. We're speaking about navigating relationships, or rather navigating breakups. Let me be specific because many people did not find themselves marrying the very first person that they ever courted or dated. And so, considering that that is the kind of life that we find ourselves in, and even if things worked out for you, and your first was your first, and that's it, for your children, how do you then give them advice? Like, because we live in a completely different climate, a different environment. If they seeking for family one day, what are you going to say to them about how then to navigate these interesting romantic life challenges in a healthy way? That is why we're doing this. It's the festive period, Coach Chidi, and I don't know if it's a good idea for a new start now. I don't think there's ever like a best time to walk away from a relationship. But when a person's already feeling and have it's probably been feeling 3 months ago, hore, yaziphelile la, but they have not taken that active step yet. When is it the right time or the better time to ever walk away generally?
Look, that question itself,
Yes.
it makes people to feel like there is a generic time or period that
Mm-hmm.
one can decide to walk away. And I
Mm.
would like to say this today. The relationships are very complex. They are not complicated, they're just complex.
Okay.
And in that, we need to understand that it's all about individuals. And the moment you understand that you are an individual first before being in a relationship, it means that you as a person, you do have what we call your own tolerance limit to anything in life, whether
Mm-hmm.
it be pain, whether it be excitement. You know that you can be excited to this level. You can be hurt and you can maintain or contain the hurt up to this level. Therefore, even with relationships, when you realize that it is no longer serving you the way you had intended or envisioned, no one has the right to come and tell you that only now is the perfect time for you to let go or to walk away. It should remain an individual decision that says, I can here boldly say, I have done my best. I have tried to work on this, to resuscitate things, to make things work. And if I can see that the energy, it's not the same either from the other end or just the relationship itself, it's not making the sense that I would have wished for. Therefore,
Mm-hmm.
that should be the moment you decide to walk away, regardless of the season that we are in, whether it be Easter, whether it be festive seasons, regardless, that should be an individual based decision to say, I no longer feel that this journey, this vehicle called this marriage or relationship, it's taking me to where I would have envisioned for me to go. You should call it quits. We normally say it in an extreme to say, you are not a tree. You must uproot yourself from a relationship if it's no longer serving you, regardless of the level where it's at. You're still dating. Are you courting? Are you just recently married? Have you been long married? But if the intended goal that one wanted to achieve is no longer there, that should be the point where somebody says, look, enough is enough. And the reason why I'm saying this boldly is because I have seen, I am still privileged to have engagement with people who are within relationships, but they've already walked away,
Mm.
but they are still within the relationship. What
Yeah.
do I mean by walking away? They are no longer doing the things that married people or people who are in a relationship would do. No longer having those conversations that are intentional for building together. They are no
Mm-hmm.
longer even having intimacy. They are no longer having the very same things that people would regard as people being in a relationship. So it's quite interesting that we do not have to put it into a certain corner to say only this period is regarded the best period to walk away. Any period should be the best period, regardless of the season.
Yeah, it's tough. I know it's very hard because you're like, yo, we had made plans for December. Now I'm going to be alone. Yo, maybe I must wait until. Maybe I must wait until after Christmas. Yo, Kunzima, guys, it's hard. It's very hard. I don't know, Coach Shiri. Let's see if we can hear the other coach on the line. I see we are struggling a bit. We're trying to connect on a different line to him. Good morning, Abudim Fundo. Tell me if you are able to hear us. Ishoge, good morning or something. Sikuzwa, we can't hear you at all. Shuti koninkinga ngale line. All right. Shame. I'm very sad that we won't be able to also have him on the line. It seems like it is problematic, but it's fine. The technical team is trying to help out to see if there's something that can be resolved, Lana. Because on my side, I don't know how to work out with technology. But Mfundo Sobanu would see, are we able to still get you on Clambe on a different system? Man, you said something very interesting. Was say relationships are not complicated, they are complex. And I was like, those are synonyms the last time I checked. What did you mean?
I missed on the last statement there, the question
Oh,
itself.
I was asking for clarity. Complicated, they are not complicated, they are complex. In my eyes, yeah, fun.
Yeah, no, complicated people automatically take it to the negative part of things to say,
Oh,
if
okay.
somebody says something is complicated, it means it is not something that can be fixed. It is regarded okay for things to be messy and all that. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
being complex is just to say this is broad. You should have an open mind to
Okay,
accept the
I
fact
see.
that there is diversity. You are dealing with a human being who is a community. I always say a
Mm-hmm.
human being is a community. Seeing the coach here right now, you are seeing an individual who is a collective of how I was brought up from both my mother's side and my father's side.
Mm-hmm.
And that was influenced through my mom and my dad, how they raised me.
Mm-hmm.
So those things, they have influenced me to become the person that I am today. Therefore I am complex in myself as well. That is why even in coaching we do have this opportunity where we take people through, you know them finding themselves, identifying who they really are, right? That is complexity in itself from an individual level. What more the moment we start now relating with the next person, you are still trying to find who you really are,
Yeah.
that while the other person is trying to understand who you are. So that's where the complexity comes in. And it requires one to have an open mind to say, look, I might not
Mm-hmm.
get to understand this individual completely. However, the things that so far I have come to know about them, I regard them as acceptable. And I am saying I am willing to accommodate them who they are as much as I will be expecting them to accommodate me for who I am and my complexity as well. Because even I myself, I'm still struggling to understand who am I really? Because that's what relationship does. They make you realize certain things you never knew about yourself, in as much
Okay.
as you get to know things you never knew about the next person. You ask yourself, yo, I never knew I'm this patient. Eh? I always thought I'm one person who, if things go south, immediately I cut it out. But because of relationship, you get to realize, no, I never thought I've got this long heart. I've got this big heart to, entertain certain things. So that's where the complexity comes in. Whereas,
Mm.
when we talk of complicated, people would say, it's too much for me not to can even bother to start engaging in it. Because
Yeah.
if somebody says this is complicated, you will not even feel the need to work out on things that could have been worked on.
Oh wow. Wow, I love that. Okay, beautiful response. And I'm glad you touched on that because I want to touch on a few of these elements of that make relationships either work or rather make them difficult. The few that I wrote down that I think are very important. They not, I mean, there's more to it, of course. Communication, compatibility, family and friends, finances. There are others. Those are some of the things that make our relationships, romantic relationships in particular, complex. Mm, have experts figured out what actually makes a romantic relationship really, really work when they profile people who have been together, not because abantu bazothini, but really because we've got this, we know each other, we have a deep relationship with each other. We like each other. It's not just we love each, we like each other, and their relationship has sustained the test of time and different challenges. What makes it actually really work?
Yeah, that's a very big question, and it might take us the whole day. But
Oh.
for me, how I look at it,
Mm,
it's all about going back to the basics, and allow me to take it from this angle. When people get married, and that very same day where the excitement was very high,
yeah.
and people were ululating, there were dance moves and all that, there is that part where there is an oath that is taken, the vows that people make. And there is this common vow that says, for better, for worse.
Nowadays
That's
they
to take
say for better and for better. It was I don't know if you've heard that.
exactly. Yeah, no, I've heard that. And for me, that's because people are avoiding reality. The fact
Okay.
that you're going to have two individuals who come from two different walks of life,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of how deep their love is for each other, there are realities that will pop in that makes you realize that you do not see things the same way. The fact that we are married, our systems don't get intertwined so
Mm-hmm.
much that we become one. It becomes a desire, it becomes a fight daily for us to want to accommodate each other's views and opinions. I always
Mm-hmm.
say better relationships or healthier relationships are achieved when two parties are willing to meet each other at a point of compromise.
Mm. All the
And this
time.
compromise should not be based on one feeling pushed. It should be out of your own individual will to say, I am willing to see things the way you see them on this part. Tomorrow, it's you who's going to say, I see things this way. I choose to see things your way simply because I am in the process of learning. And
Okay.
this is where my second point comes in. The moment people think that when we get into a relationship, we stop learning, that's where the relationship start dying immediately
Mm,
there. Because
mm,
on a daily basis, we learn, we unlearn. There are certain things that we come here knowing that we thought would be applicable to this space. Therefore, you need to be willing to unlearn certain things. And some of the things you used to know them, now you need to relearn them.
mm.
So it's an ongoing process that is driven by those three factors.
Wow.
And to also add this wonderful saying by Richard Needham that I love sharing whenever I have conversations around relationship, it's when you understand that Richard Needham says when you marry, you do not marry one person, but you marry three in one.
Oh, why?
He says you marry a person for who you think they are.
Mm,
So that means you got attracted by this individual, whether it's the physical appearance or the conversations you had in the beginning with them. You got attracted, and it created a perception in your mind of who this person is.
mm-hmm.
And then he says you marry them for the second person, who is the person that they really are. Now, this is where reality kicks in. On a daily basis, you are realizing that, oh, what I thought is not actually this, it's actually this. Or what I never thought of this person, there is actually this element of them that never existed in my perception of them from the beginning. So it's an
Mm,
ongoing lesson. You are learning this about this person. Oh, this is the real individual. And in that
mhm,
process, you learn to accommodate and compromise that, oh, I understand this person, I accept them. And the last part is, he says, you marry a person for who you will become by being married to them.
mm, 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 mm.
This means now it's you doing your own introspection to say, ever since I've accommodated Millicent in my life, how has my life been? Has it turned out for the better or for the worse? Can I point out, progress? Is there anything that I can say I've grown to become? Or
Mm,
is it the opposite? So the moment we do that,
yeah.
those are things that makes better relationships, exist. And not forgetting the one that I wanted to start with, that for better, for worse, days are not going to be the same. And I'm sitting here saying this as a NLP relationship coach. Not
Mm,
every day you wake up feeling the very same way you felt the first day. Not
mm.
because there's something weird with you. You are just a human being. You are affected by external factors because now you still need to wake up in the morning, go to work. You are affected by politics in the country. You are affected by things in the office and all that. And when you come back, you are still the same human being. And which is why it becomes a greater need for you to decide that the moment I walk through the door of my home, I choose to take off all these other factors and switch on to becoming the husband, switch on to becoming the father of the house, switch on to, and it's not an easy exercise. Sometimes you feel weighed down because whatever could have happened in the office, maybe it was too much that you are still trying to transition from that mode that you were in from the office.
Yeah.
It was very tense. You're coming from a very tough meeting, tactical. It was brainstorming. You are strategizing. And now, when you get into the household, they are waiting for the husband. They are waiting for the father of the house. And
Yeah.
and and when people find it difficult to switch over these roles, that's where it becomes difficult. Some very interesting scenarios. You'll find that the mother of the house happens to be maybe a leader in their organization, and when
Mm.
they come back home, they are still putting on that robe that says, I'm the manager, I'm the boss. And when they come home, they're expected to be the wife, the submissive one, the caring mother, the tender one. And you find them, they're still within that mood of the office, and they're struggling to switch over to becoming this individual, this role that is expected in the household. And those are
Mm.
things that also contribute in this relationship not becoming the best or the better relationships that we would have wished for.
Sure. Expectations galore. I'm seeing a lot of expectations. Someone says, happy Sabbath from Anonymous. Utsi, to single out finance, because I mentioned finance as one of the challenges
Yeah.
to relationships. I'm always fascinated when people mention finances as a challenge to relationship. I am wondering why. Yo, I can understand. Okay. Abuti Chiriti, am I crazy in assuming that finances are I think that finances can be a serious hamper to a relationship. You are wondering why. I think they can because maybe you don't match the same lifestyle or again expectations are not met because this one is financially challenged and therefore what you are hoping for in the relationship ends up not happening because of financial limitations. That's one of the ways that I view it. In your experience, Abutichiri, what have you found?
I will give you two things. The first one, it's more or less the same what you've just said, expectations, right? To say when two individuals, especially adults, when we meet, I am expecting that the next person would know how to handle finances and how finances should be distributed within a relationship or a marriage. That's an expectation. And we
Mhm.
fail to drill down to it to understand exactly how much of financial literacy does the next person has. And this is the second point: financial literacy, and not just on an individual level but within a relationship space. Those are two elements that I, sitting here today, have come to realize. And at some point, even personally for me, it has become that part where I had to walk through that journey where I realized that no, man, there is a difference between handling finances on an individual level versus handling finances within a relationship space. And people find it difficult to transition from dealing with finances on an individual level now to accommodate the next person,
Mm.
right? Because
Both male
here
and
I
female.
am, yes,
Both
here
genders
I
struggle with
am,
that. Okay.
I am a spender. I happen to be married or to be in a relationship with a person who is a saver.
A saver.
If these two people don't sit and talk about how they view finances, whether you like it or not, this is going to become a hiccup at some point, right? Because someone is sitting here saying, I prefer
Wasting money.
saving for the future. And
Yeah.
this other one is saying, I am that person who says, if it's here, we use it.
You only live
We
once,
cannot,
Baba.
you see those type of things. So
Yeah.
these two individuals, and it also talks of compatibility that we spoke about earlier.
Yes.
Because now if you've got a spender and a saver, these two people, if not coming together and meeting each other at the point of compromise that I mentioned earlier, you will
Mm-hmm.
find that the other one is feeling pushed away from who they are. They are a spender. They might not be a careless spender. It's just that they believe in that when money is here, it should be used. The other one is saving, but they could be the extreme savers where they can even go to an extent of not having basics within the house because they just want to see a
Save,
huge
save.
fat bank account. And you ask yourself, but at the cost of
Why?
what? You see, so it's all about sitting down and showing each other to say, yes, I don't want you to move away from being the saver, but
Yeah.
let's compromise to meet each other halfway. I don't want to become a constant spender. I understand that we have to save here and there and for these reasons. So hence I
Mm-hmm.
said earlier, I think what I'm saying right now, it connects well from what I said to say it becomes an ongoing learning, unlearning, and relearning. That's how relationships work. So even from an element of
Sure.
finances, we are constantly learning, we are relearning, and we are unlearning certain things. And as long as when in our communications, we
Mm.
share the reasons behind why they need to save, why they need to spend at this point, why they
Yeah.
need not to save in this season, and also acknowledging the economy status of the country where we are at, in as much as we are saying
Mm.
we want to save, but you might find that at this rate, the way things are, the way the cost of living is, we can't constantly be saving 50,000 every month. And the question would be, how much are we left to live with?
Makes so much
It might
sense.
mean let us go back and take maybe a 10K out of our savings that we would save every month and try
Mm.
to balance the standard of living, not really the standard, but to meet where the cost of living is at. So it requires constant conversations. And of course, some people,
Mm.
it rubs them off the wrong way whenever finances are involved, because
Yeah.
they feel like, no, it's like you're tampering with my finances. And that is why even in our dating programs, we tell people to go and find which method works for them within a relationship and finances. Because some, they will
Mm-hmm.
tell you, would rather have a combined account where we both have our income going in and that we decide what goes where, what goes where. Some would say, I still want to have my own individual account. The other one, I want to have my own individual. Then we split the responsibilities to say, come month and you cover this, you cover this. And then you're still able to do whatever you want to do with the remaining amount in your account. You can still go do your nails and whatever, take your friends out and whatever if you want to do it. But without tampering with the responsibilities that would have been given to you. And these dynamics, they work differently from individuals to individuals, from one relationship to the next. We cannot say we have got one that is regarded generic, it cuts across. It's not a one blanket fits all,
Mm.
unfortunately.
Nice one. I love that. It's not a one blanket fits all. Because I think what I'm learning so far this morning is see you will learn for every different person that you end up in a relationship with. You can't just assume no, ladies love whatever, whatever. Not all women are the same. They're the same, but they're
Yeah,
not the same. You know, not all men are the same. They're the same, but they're not the same. You need
that's
to
true.
take into cognizance the nuances of each and every single. And I think that's why you keep on reiterating that you must learn, you must unlearn, you must relearn.
Yeah.
What works for this particular person is what you need to then make. If you want a healthy and happy relationship, you need to consider this particular person. Yes, exe anarata it this way, mara this one are ubatla this way. If you want it to work, just
Mm.
do the new way, as long as it doesn't take anything from your own identity. If it makes you feel like you are being stripped of your identity, I guess then maybe that's not the right relationship for you. But if it doesn't take anything away from your identity, then it's okay to go ahead and try it out. It doesn't hurt anyone. The other thing that I think that I'm grasping from overall what you are saying is you can't just marry anyone. A relationship, not just marry, but just relationship with anyone. You everyone should have a type. I think that's what I'm hearing. I feel like you can't just be in a relationship with anyone and make it work with anyone. Like I could never just end up marrying any man and it's gonna be fine. I feel like that's what I'm hearing you say. Is that what you're also saying, that a relationship is not, it doesn't matter ba go joina le mang, it can work if you want it to work? Is that what you are saying, or are you saying no? Actually, everyone has
Look,
it.
You caught me right there, and this now takes me to the most common question that I get to say, Coach, what is it that you regard the deal maker or a
Mm,
deal breaker for
mm,
relationships?
mm,
Naturally, a man and a woman, if you put them within a room, naturally they will find that attraction because that's just how nature is. But the
mm.
question would be, is that the point where a relationship should be birthed out? Because if that is the case, if I'm with person X today who's an opposite, gender, does it mean I will relate with them tomorrow, the other one and the other? No, unfortunately, we are not animals. We are human
Mm.
beings, right? Now,
Yeah.
it comes back to the core that I believe, and also based on interactions with people. It's that everything that we see in the physical, it has already happened in the spiritual.
Oh, what does that mean?
What we see manifesting here in the physical is something that is already happened in the spiritual or is happening in the spiritual, meaning the physical realm is governed by the spiritual realm. And I know that's a can of worm. We can unpack it from different. This is where also now religions are birthed from, right? To
Okay.
say that's why people would say, I cannot just connect with anyone at the level of relationships. And the question would be, but why or why not? For me, as a Christian, I will take it to the point where the Bible talks of you cannot be unequally yoked.
Okay.
Why? What is that? It's the compatibility from a spiritual element to say, if me and this individual, we do not drink from the same well, which is the spirituality, our belief system, it
Mm.
is not aligned. Therefore, we will find it difficult, even if we try to patch it, we try to glue it, we
Yeah.
try to put some strings around it. In the long run, something will just make it not work because in the spiritual realm, we are not connecting. And if someone wants to take it also
Powerful.
from the African point of view, you would
Mm.
now understand why families would rather walk out within the village. The Radalis will walk out when Chilizi has become of age and is ready to marry. They will go and pinpoint a specific family for me to can consider marrying from. Why was that? It is also to say we want to connect and we know that we connect with these ones on a spiritual level. Yes, we can also talk of the cultural or traditional level and all that, but where it's all coming from is the spirit part of the human being to say, if your spirit is not settled with an individual, you will not make it work. No matter how much money you can pop in into it to try and make it work, somehow you'll just end up not even understanding. But what is it that's making this thing not to work? I mean, I've given the best wedding. I've built a home for us. It's a castle. This queen is supposed to feel okay in this home, and but there's just always that one thing missing. And when you unpack it from where I'm sitting, when I unpack it, it is always directed back to the spirituality to say it could be the spirituality from an individual level. And also now when we come together, because if you are not in tune with who you are, remember your identity, we always
Mhm.
source it out from the spiritual realm to say, who am I? What governs my thought processes? What governs who I am? And all these things. And if I am saying, as a child of God, if whatever I do is not governed by what God says, then I know that I am out of the way. Therefore, even the people that I will accommodate within my space, I will end up accommodating the wrong people from a
Whoa.
friendship level, also
Whoa.
to a point also of who I marry.
Mm. My
So
time.
I gave an example with me and how I believe. So the other person, because we are not here to elevate a specific religion, somebody would say, Abapanzi, they do not sit well with this person. Someone would say whatever they say within their own religion, but where does it point out? The spiritual realm to say, if whatever it is that we are doing is not aligned with our spirituality, the physical will find it hard to connect.
I think I
No matter
hear
how
you.
much you can force or push it, it will just not work. The same with the work environment, not just the relationships. This
Mm.
place, they're paying very well, it's a good organization, but you just always feel there is just something offish, but I just can't put my
Mm.
finger to it, but there's just
Honest.
something. Mauvugendlini, you wake up from the house, when you get to this
Mm.
place, there's a sudden element of you feeling like you're weighed down. But
Yes.
I woke up
Yeah.
okay. I'm not even sick. When you leave this place, you go home, there's a certain activation of you being happy, being joyful, and you ask yourself, "Tanti,
Wow.
what exactly is happening?"
Mm-hmm.
And these things that we cannot, of course, explain in the physical, there's only one explanation. It is
Okay.
in the realm of the spirit. And
Very
which is
deep.
why those who pray would pray. Those who do whatever they do to connect to the spirit, they will do whatever they do. But the bottom line remains. There are just those relationships that no matter how much of sessions you will attend with us counselors, you will
Mm.
just not make it simply because there is no compatibility on that spiritual level. And if it's
Wow.
not down the spiritual level, whether you like it or not,
That's it. That's
that's
it.
it.
Man, that was really deep. I don't know if you can answer a question in less than a minute. I hope you can because my time is
Okay.
up. But I thought it's really important for me to put it out there because I don't think I've heard it spoken about here. The suggested age gap that could make a relationship more functional, is there such?
Oh, that's another question as well. That is very common, and I cannot sit here and say there is a specific age gap that people make it work. Again, it goes back to individuals. Some people would say a 5 year age gap, 10 year age gap, and also the next question would be when you say 10 year age gap, who must be older than the other? Is it the woman or the man? Those type of things, and it goes back to individuals. For me, the age as the number itself doesn't really say much because I have seen young big men. This person
Yeah.
is 50 something, but their
Like a
mental
kid.
state is of a child. I have seen the 25-year-olds, the
No,
30-year-olds
who
who
are
are
mature.
matured men, who are matured women. It cuts across the genders. But the bottom line is, if the maturity level, we're able to put something on the table and we digest it equally, regardless of our age, nothing stops us from relating. But of course, not forgetting the legal age of a country where it is acceptable. I think I need to say this because some people would say, no, let me rather go for the youngest ones and see if I cannot
Because I'm
relate because coach
attracted to
said,
that.
you see, coach said, no, 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 age is just a number. No, no, no. Let
It's
us not
not.
forget that part where we need to be responsible people, and let's not do what people will call chicken murder or I don't know even know these terms that they say, but let's not go to that level. The intention here is to build. And the question would be, how are you planning to build with somebody who is way younger than you, whereas you are now nearing the phase of your life where you are planning the future? And this person is still trying to enjoy their youth. So of course,
Yeah.
those we cannot talk of those type of. But if we are adults, for me, I would say acceptable is your 5 year age gap because it does not take much away from the phases of life where people are at. That's my own opinion. It's not what
Okay.
we are saying, it's a generic belief. It's what I regard acceptable, regardless whether the woman or the man is the one who's older. But a 5 year age gap for me works well because these two, they're not far away from each other in terms of the phases of life.
I hear you. Like when you were just leaving high school, she was just starting high school, something like that. So you probably still
Those
listen
type
to
of
the same
things, yeah.
music or what. Okay, I hear you. All right, last comment that came through. Are these things are difficult, Nick? And we also don't want to be the same as the world where men are commodities and measured on how much they have and women are measured on how much they can give of themselves. So it's a tough one. Nzala, it's a tough one. We've got a message also from Angola. Bayabulisa, Angola coach. So we do recognize SID family wherever you are tuning to us from. Siyabonga kakhulu, Coach Chiridzi. Where can people get a hold of you, by the way? Social media pages or anything that you can give so that people can go and check you out?
Yeah, the people can check me out on social media. It's Chilizi Radali. And on Instagram is at Coach TC Radali. And also my WhatsApp line is 073
Okay. At Coach Radari on Instagram,
At Coach TC Radali.
at Coach TC Radari, which is spelled Radali. I get
That's correct, yes.
perfect. Siyabonga kakhulu. May God continue to bless you in the work that you do, and we hope that you will come and visit us again. Thank you for today.
No, it was a pleasure, and thank you so much. Looking forward to future conversations as well.
Amen and amen. And that's where we leave it this morning on the glorious morning. Up next is the mid morning empowerment. Join me again tomorrow between 6 and 9 a.m. DJ Dynamite, Millicent Ndiweni is my name. Thank you for joining us. I see all of you, Apple Monday, and everyone else on the various streams. Thank you for choosing us as your station of choice. Have a beautiful day further. And those of you worshiping, have an amazing, happy Sabbath to you.
Sometimes